All right, I'm not sure if I have this resolved. So you can hear me. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are going to get started in just a couple minutes.
Jocelyn, I got it resolved. We're good to go.
Oh, great. That's awesome. What ended up being the problem? You had to just restart your computer?
Yeah, it's like the old TV. You have to smack it on the side to get it going.
Smack it on the side. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of folks.
Since we met that we haven't done this in person.
What's that?
I was saying, Alex, that this is the first year that we actually haven't done this in person.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
And I think the last time was the November in 19, I think it was. Was it November 19th?
Yep.
Or 19 or something? It was a while.
Good morning, all. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. Thank you to all who have signed on so far. We're going to give it a few more minutes and then we'll get started. When we do, reminder to please use the chat and Q&A to provide any comments or questions throughout the presentation. Tom, maybe we should get a Chiefs playlist going for the start of these. We'll take suggestions, people on chat.
Jocelyn, I'm sorry, you probably answered this earlier, but do you have team members that are viewing as well?
I do have a few.
All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. It's a reminder to everyone that has just joined, please use the Q&A and/or chat to enter any questions or comments throughout the presentation. I'm also going to launch a poll at some point, probably towards the end, to ask if you would like comment to reach out to you directly with any of their information. And we will be following up with an e-blast with the recording of the presentation as well as their slides. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Tom to introduce our guest.
Okay. So welcome everybody to our monthly webinar. This is The Chief Engineers Education Committee actually helped develop and implement the webinars that you've seen in the last 7 months. So thank you all for participating. It's a great resource for you all to actually pick up some new points and also see what's new out in the world. And Jocelyn's going to be the presenter today for ComEd. And just so you know, the energy efficiency program that ComEd offers it's nothing new. Actually, they've been a participant with the Chief Engineers Organization for several years right now and talking about the energy efficiency program. For you all out there, engineers, asset manager, and project managers, most of you are familiar with the program, but you have to ask yourself how many of you actually utilize it. And just from what I know and from my experience in the past is that the program itself is relatively easy to manage, but it does take some time and effort. But I do know that ComEd has always been there to support our engineers, project managers, and asset managers on any project that they've offered up. So once again, that's somebody that you definitely can rely on to work with your organizations to have projects completed in short order. So at this time, I'd like to thank Jocelyn, first of all, for presenting. I know he has a lot of things going on right now in his actually recent days, and I appreciate his time. So Jocelyn, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to you. And thank you very much, ComEd, for participating.
Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate the opportunity to have us here to present again. I've been with the ComEd program for a while now, and I've gone to a couple of these chief engineer events, and we've always both found it mutually beneficial for us, as well as you guys, just to talk and share ideas. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and get us started. All right, great. So once again, thank you, the chief engineers, all of you for attending our custom webinar today. We're going to go through not only custom incentives, but also other offerings that ComEd has. So like I said, I've been attending some of these for quite some time because I've been in the program for now over 6 years. Specifically focusing on some of the custom aspects, process cooling, system enhancements, and also cooling system upgrades. So but talking to some of you guys, I understand that a lot of the concerns that you have might be around keeping your buildings hot or cold, or some of the newest improvements. So hopefully that this presentation can help you either A, want to start a new program, or B, start thinking about new things that you can tackle this year with some of your budget allocations. Today, we're going to go over what a custom incentive is. Although I know some of you might know, I want to give some of the new members an opportunity to understand that. How applying custom to your facility can actually benefit you. Also, how to get started with the custom program. Also, I'm going to go into some offering overviews that aren't mainly focusing on custom. Next steps, how to get started, where should go, and then we'll wrap it up with some questions. But now, as Alex said, if you have any questions, please go ahead and throw them in the log. I am more than willing to explain or expand on anything that we go over today, or you can just hold your questions to the end and we can handle it then. So there's never been a better time to do energy efficiency improvements. We always say that because even though in these trying times of COVID and us not necessarily being able to be closer to one another, anytime you're saving energy, you're saving money. And ultimately, there's no bad time to save money. So there's never a bad time to do energy efficiency improvement. All right, so custom incentives. What are custom incentives? So some of you that are familiar with our program, we have what's called custom and prescriptive or standard incentives. What custom incentives are any other energy efficiency improvements that don't necessarily qualify for our standard incentives. So typically prescriptive measures are like lighting, we're putting VFDs on motors and drives, we're improving our HVAC, but anything that falls outside of that realm that we can quantify the energy savings, we'll pay you, there's a rate that we can pay you between 7 cents and 12 cents per the kWh save. Now, if you're looking for a full list of incentives, I'm gonna probably beat this into your head a couple of times. You can always visit our website. If you're looking for specific incentives for standard or a couple of custom incentives, and I'll go over a few examples later, please go to ComEd.com/standard custom incentives. Another website that or a link that I'm always gonna beat down on you guys because I love custom is the ComEd/custom. There you'll find ideas on projects, process improvement, and also custom applications. So, like I said, I've been in the program for a while. So some of the examples of projects that we've done in the past that we've offered incentives for that you might be thinking about improving at your facility or that your team might be looking into, things like process cooling system improvements, refrigeration system, compressed air system retrofits, variable speed drives on large motors. So here's an example of how there's a standard incentive for VFDs on motors that are less than 200 horsepower. But if you have motors that have horsepower over 200, that will be qualified as a custom incentive. Also, we've done free cooling systems. We've done specialty lighting projects. We even do elevators now. So I know some of you have your chief engineers for high rises. So we have incentives for that as well. So if you're thinking about ways that you can improve, here are some great examples. I'm gonna go into a couple of different ones, but specific ones, but here's just a good way to get your wet your whistle a little bit. If you're looking for specific ideas, once again, I'm gonna keep ramming this home, please visit our website at ComEd.com/customs. We'll have specific examples of projects that we've done in the past and also case studies that you can review and maybe help get ideas on what you can do in the future. So we do live in a world of the cloud and IT, and now that we've had technology that allows us all to meet with each other like this Zoom call, I'd like you guys to think about, some people never thought about, well, we have these IT closets or these server rooms in our facilities that, you know, are huge energy draws. How can we help, or how can we help reduce? So we've also have a multitude of incentives involved through the custom program for IT rooms. So, you know, we have things that could save all types of size. So if you're trying to replace the air conditioning equipment, add VSDs to existing air conditioners or network desktop power management, these are some things that we've done in the past that you might want to look into. But you're thinking, well, what customers or where would I find these places that we can improve? Some examples that we've seen in the past are Asian coalition facilities, healthcare facilities, higher education, because I know there's some CPS people that might be on the call, or public government facilities. All these locations have IT locations that could benefit from an improvement. So some of the measures that we have incentivized in the past are crack units, or VFDs on cooling towers or crack units, chiller replacements as well, UPSs, which are uninterruptible power supply, and control optimization. So here's an example of what we've done at a school. So they had an IT room and they wanted to upgrade it. They upgraded their crack units and their UPSs. The estimated incremental project cost, so that was the cost between them installing a regular improvement or going to the most efficient way to improve their crack units. They got the incremental cost was a little over 10 grand, but the incentive they received was a little over $4,500, which resulted in an estimated kWh savings of 39,000 kWh with an annual cost savings of $3,000. That project paid back in less than 3 years. So you could see how, if you're going to think about doing anything improvements in IT or anything like that, a custom project could definitely help you with that. Like I mentioned earlier, elevators. So anyone that's working in the commercial space or hospital space that have elevators that they're thinking about upgrading, you can install regenerative drives to effectively power those elevators, which take the heat loss out of it and put it into energy. It's a great way to improve the incentives. I'm going to give you guys an example. So we did a 9-story building, office building. So the project cost was around $141,000. They reaped an incentive of close to $30,000. They saved 246,000 kilowatt hours a year with the annual savings of over 22,000 a year. That project paid it back about 5 years. So, you know, if you're thinking about projects and you're like, well, I don't know what I want to do, there are 2 key examples, one in IT and one in the commercial space that can help you, and you can see how the incentives have helped pay them back. So now if you have a larger facility, so thinking like a large plant, a school, a major university or museum that you're a chief engineer for, we have what's called the Combined Heat and Power Program. So it's really a technology for customers to generate electricity and heat efficiency. This process usually takes about 12 months. Well, once it's installed, we monitor it for 12 months after the commissioning has been done. But once the project is completed, we can pay you up to 12 cents per kWh reduced at your facility for taking advantage of the CHP program. Don't know if any of you guys work in the wastewater or the water treatment plant facilities, but if you like to drink clean water, these places are very important. So we offer incentives for improving facility aeration blowers, diffusers, and dissolved oxygen control. So these are some of the things. The blowers are what help feed that give oxidase to the algae eaters that eat up all that bad stuff at the bottom, which sinks down. So we have 2 tracks for that. If you have the aeration improvement associated with blowers without dissolved oxygen controls, we'll pay you 12 cents. But if you have them with, we pay you up to 21 cents per kWh saved. So here's like a little breakdown of some of the incentive amounts based on what track you go through custom. So if you want to do a new construction lighting or a specialty lighting project, that's a project where if you're redoing a space and you're gutting it to the studs and you've already taken out the fixtures, that would be considered a new construction lighting project. We could pay you up to 7 cents per kWh. But that doesn't take away that if you typically were to do a lighting project, we also have standard incentives for lighting as well. I recently just mentioned the wastewater treatment, the 12 to 21 cents. A new construction IT project, if your facility or your company is going to build a new IT data center or anything like that, we pay 7 cents per kWh. Closet collation, 10 cents per kWh saved, sorry. And all other custom vendors, so including IT, combined heat and power, elevators, VFDs, etc. We pay 12 cents per kWh saved. So a lot of times I get asked this, so why would ComEd give us money to improve our facilities if they charge us to use energy? Well, that's a good question. These incentives come from myself, you, companies that you work for. We all pay into the ComEd program. So these incentives are intended to assist ComEd customers in saving energy by completing energy efficient projects that would not pursue without extra financial assistance. So if you're on the fence about, hey, are we gonna install this new chiller, or do we have any money to upgrade all our lightings? This is what this program is typically designed for. So the funding for the energy efficiency program offering comes from customers like you and myself, like I said, in accordance with state law. And the goal is to ComEd to effectively maximize the benefit of the dollar to customers. So we want to make sure that we are providing the best amount of service, but also we want to improve your facility as much as we possibly can. Now, once these improvements have been completed, it's also required by law that a third-party evaluator, they're called Guidehouse, reviews all program offerings. This is done randomly, so it's not to say that every project that's done through the ComEd program will be evaluated by these evaluators. But what they're really looking for is that we met all the program requirements, saved energy is claimed in the application, and that we at ComEd had some kind of influence on the incentive. So I don't want you to think it's like a witch hunt or that we're trying to come at you after you've done the program. Basically what the findings are is to help evaluate the program to make sure that, A, we're doing what we said we did and the savings were there. And so I just wanted to make sure that we talked about this, because sometimes in the end of the process, we don't always let you guys know that there might be an evaluator looking after the project. But once again, it doesn't impact the customer at all, but all it is to help us make the program better. So a way that we come up with these energy savings is through measurement and verification. And there are typically three ways that measurement and verification happens. A, it's through theoretical data. B, it might be through billing analysis. And C is through metering, through data loggers. Custom programs, the one thing that definitely differentiates custom programs from standard programs is that there may be this measurement and verification process. But now, typically, all projects don't necessarily require measurement and verification. Usually schools do not. If the incentive that you're requesting is less than $25,000, it may not require M&V. And certain projects have limited M&V. So medium to large projects, we do offer, depending on the project, or if you can't have data logging or if that's required, we do offer data log equipment and also monitoring and data collection for you, if that's something that your team needs for your project. So we've talked a lot about M&V, why we do it, who will be evaluating it, but you're like, all right, Jocelyn, I want to get started, but I have an idea and I don't know necessarily if this is a good fit for custom or if it should be standard. So a good place to start is called a custom intake form. What the custom intake form is, allows our engineers to review your project, just see if it has any legs. What you do is you'll fill it out, you explain how you do your calculation methods for your M&V. You'll give us the address and just kind of overview of the scope of work. Our engineers will review it with you and we'll say whether it's a good fit for custom, whether it's a go or it's a no-go. Now, mind you, this is not a custom application. So if you were to fill this out and send it in to us for a review, this does not tell you that you can go ahead and start your project. This is just to help us together as a team determine whether the idea that you have for saving energy for your company is a good one or not. So one thing that's new and exciting that I know you guys are waiting to hear about the new and exciting things at ComEd, we have what's called a custom combo. It's from January 1st through November 19th. And so basically what it is you submit a custom application, a new custom application, and another project. So custom application and a lighting project, custom application and a HVAC project together. And you can have them submitted at the final submitted before November 19th. Instead of just giving you instead of the 12 cents, for public sector customers, you're able to get 18 cents per kWh saved. And for private sector customers, you're gonna get 15 cents. So it's like a combo deal. If you can do both of them, we'll up the incentive for you. All right, so for those that are not familiar with how the process through custom works, I'll just walk you through it real quick. So of course, we're gonna start with the custom intake form. We'll let you know, with our team, we'll let you know if that's a good project or not. You'll submit the custom application, or pre-approval application. If there is a M&V required, that's an M&V plan that will come up between our reviewing engineers and you guys, so that we both understand if there's M&V required, how long it will take, what measurements we're looking for, and what results we're expecting at the end of the project. Once we've agreed on the M&V plan, you'll receive a reservation letter. That gives you the green light to go ahead and purchase and install the equipment. Once the equipment is installed, you'll submit the final application with any required M&V. An inspection may be required depending on what the custom application is. But once the inspection has been completed, we reviewed your final paperwork, then we issue you your incentive check. And that's basically how it works in a nutshell. So kind of beat you guys down with custom offerings. Let me change gears a little bit and talk about some of the other offerings that we have available. So if you didn't know, we offer free facility assessments. So what we'll do is we'll come and do an ASHRAE level assessment at your facility free of charge. We'll identify all the energy efficiency improvements that we can identify at your facility. We do it for small public facilities as well. And we also, if requested, we could do some technical assistance. So if your facility's already had a facility assessment and you just want someone to take a quick look at something specific, we offer that. The standard incentives that we offer, wide variety of them, from lighting, HVAC, variable speed drives, energy management systems, IT rooms, new construction. We even do street lights. So keep that in mind. We also offer instant discounts. So some of you have distributors that you work with to buy your lighting needs. You do it in bulk, and then you take advantage of the instant discount program. That's great. We also offer HVAC instant discounts where you don't have to go through the application process. And we've also always added forklifts and battery chargers. I'll get into instant discounts a little bit later. One other offering we offer is the Business Energy Analyzer, call it the BEA for short. It's an energy tool that you can use to look at past years and current year usage to see, okay, in March of last year, we used X amount of energy. This year, we're using way more. And then it'll help you determine, like, okay, what did we change up from last year to this year to help to make our energy usage go up or go down. So it's a good tool to use, and it's free of charge as well. So the facility assessments, like I previously mentioned, they're an ASHRAE level 1 assessment of your facility. They typically take anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. It's a walkthrough that if you're interested in applying for, just know that whoever requests the facility assessment, we just ask that someone there at the facility that knows about the facility is on task to walk with our engineers, because they will have to walk the facility to identify some of these energy efficiency improvements. So we just ask that anyone if you're thinking about getting one, just have someone in the back of your head like, okay, I got Joe. Joe's a good guy to walk this engineer around to look at our whole facility. And like I said, it's free of charge. Once the facility assessment is done, our engineers will provide you with a report. It's typically 2 weeks after the facility assessment is done. And with that report, you can work with someone like myself as an outreach professional to go through each one of the things that have been identified and see how we can go ahead and apply for them. So if you're interested about doing anything like that, please go to ComEd.com/facilities. So standard incentives. So we offer some new things in 2021 that we didn't offer last year. So hope this really gets you excited. So if you're applying for incentives that are less than $1,000, there's no reservation required. So you can go ahead, and I would recommend you filling out one of the worksheets for whatever you're thinking about doing to find out if that incentive is going to end up being less than $1,000 first. Once you've done that, if you have, you can go ahead and get started. I would recommend that you follow all program guidelines to avoid any holdup with the incentive at the end when you submit the final, because you still will need to submit a final application for this project. Some new measures that we added are chillers with integrated VSD. We now offer an incentive of $400 per ton. Also, magnetic bearing chillers, we offer an incentive of $250 per ton. So if you're looking at any lighting improvements, as far as specifically advanced lighting controls, we've increased the incentive over 60% from 2020. So I think that's if you think about doing some major lighting improvements at your facility, I think it would behoove you to go ahead and take advantage of this increase of incentive. Here you can see a list of some of the standard incentives that we offered in the past. But if you also go to the website, you can always get a list of our incentives. So another big bonus that I wanted to, well, not bonus, but another thing that we're offering for 2021, it's called the LEAP incentive. It's a large energy efficiency project. So this one runs through January 1st as well to November 19th, 2021. Now, if you have a project that with an incentive for public sector customers that are $25,000 or larger, or for project sector customers that are $50,000 or larger, you can get an additional 30% on top of that incentive if you were to complete the project and submit all the paperwork and the documentation by July 31st. If you can't make that 31st deadline for the big money, then there's another chance you can also get 25% on top of the incentive that you already applied for. But everything has to be completed by November 19th, 2021. So one question that I've been asked in the past, can we bundle it? Can I do the combo bonus and the LEAP project to get the additional 18 cents and an additional 30% if I finish everything before July 31st? And the answer is yes. You can combine these bonuses together, which would ultimately help pay for a lot of the project and the project costs. But it's also a little caveat, it's still maximized at 75% of the project costs, but that's with any incentive. So applying for standard incentives. If you did not know, we now offer an online application where you don't have to fill out the PDFs that you guys have done in the past that I know some of you have done. So if you're interested in just doing it online and not necessarily having to fill out all the paperwork, you can go to ComEd.com/standard online application. But if you want to do it the old fashioned way, you like bringing the paperwork to have someone that have something tangible in their hands to read, we understand that too. So you could please just go to ComEd.com and look for the standard applications. Instant discounts. So I previously mentioned instant discounts. Like I said, there are discounts on fixtures or HVAC equipment or battery chargers that are applied at the point of sale. So you do not have to fill out any paperwork for instant discounts. You can get these incentives tied directly to the equipment that you're purchasing. We also have a list of distributors that if you already don't have a distributor and you're looking for, we definitely have distributors that can help you with this. If you're looking for lighting ones, you can go to ComEd.com/bizlights. You're looking for rooftops or HVAC ones, you go to the biz.hvac. Or if you're interested in battery chargers, same ComEd.com/battery chargers. All right, so next steps. So of course, I would hope that if you haven't taken advantage of a free facility assessment, that's the first thing you do is you sign up for one of those. It's a great place to get started. Like I always said already, it'll give you a report. You'll go over that report with someone like myself and we'll help. And what it helps do is it helps you look at your fiscal budget for the year and the projects you want to tackle, and you can prioritize them based on this report. So if you're looking for the service providers that I previously mentioned also in the previous slide, you can go to ComEd.com/find a service provider. That's simple enough. And you can find a service provider to help you with some of those instant discounts programs.
Justin, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 second. We have a question on the facility assessment. If you've had a facility assessment 3 years ago, how soon can you have it updated?
So if you had good news is if you had a facility assessment done 3 years ago, you're eligible for a new one because a couple of things. In 3 years, hopefully you've done some improvements at your facility and you want to start something new and you need some ideas about something else. Or B, there's a different person or point of contact that has the last facility assessment and you can't find it. And you want a fresh one just to have for yourself as maybe you took over the role as a chief engineer. So I would highly recommend if you haven't done it in 3 years, go ahead and get another one done. So there's one track. Now you might say, hey, we haven't done anything since that last facility assessment. What our engineers can do is give you an updated one from the last one that you have with the new incentive amounts attached to it. So there are two good ways where after 3 years, you should definitely get a new one and you are definitely available to get one.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem, anytime. So let's say you've already had your facility assessment done and you're like, Jocelyn, I want to get started. You should always either reach out to someone like myself, outreach professional provider, or you can go to these websites that I've been beating down on you this whole presentation, and get the applications for whatever you want to do, whether it be a standard or a custom project. You can download the applications, start filling them out. Let's get started. So some helpful hints that, I've been beating down on you the whole time, but hopefully it resonated in your head and got you excited about doing a facility assessment or a custom intake form or even a custom project. Here's some good links. You could either go to the ComEd website again for the facility assessment. You could always call us. You can visit the website, or you can email us at businessee@comed.com with any of your questions. You'll be surprised how many questions we get through that someone like myself will either answer, or we'll have an engineer reach out, follow up with you. I'm an outreach professional. I'm also my partner, Alan Tisoff. We don't run, but we're major players in the custom program. So if you have any specific questions, or if you have anything that you want to reach out to us about, please do not hesitate to ask. Right now, I think that's the end of our presentation. I'm always available to answer any additional questions that you have. I'm going to open it up to Alex, see if anyone else had anything.
We do have a couple more questions. I'm also going to launch the poll right now.
Okay.
If you'd like ComEd to contact you directly, you can select yes here in this poll, and I will give them your contact information to reach out. And then a couple questions in the chat. Does it matter what size the combo project is? Is there a minimum? Do instant discounts qualify?
All right, so I'm gonna take it one question at a time. So it does not matter the size of the project. So if you want to do a project in phases, where you want to do a section, wait for the incentive to get paid out, and then do a different section based on the incentive that you already received, you're more than happy to do that. The second portion about the instant discounts, remind me again about the instant discounts portion of the question again.
Do instant discounts qualify? So
with instant discounts, the size of the project doesn't matter, because you'll be purchasing the equipment from the distributor. So if you want to buy one bulb, I mean, you can, but it's more likely that you're going to buy more than one. But no, the size does not matter. Long answer, the size does not matter.
Okay, and then where can I find more information about the custom combo and standard LEAP extra incentives? Okay,
also, always you can look on ComEd.com, but if you have specific questions about them, please reach out to me and I can answer any questions that you might have about the custom combo.
Thank you. And then to become an EEP provider, do we need to have 3 energy efficiency projects before we apply?
We recommend that you do have 3 energy efficiency projects to apply. We do look at it at a case-by-case measure, because the standard and the custom program are open networks. We look to help and provide assistance to become EESPs as much as you can. Like I said, if someone wants to reach out specifically, I can take that question offline and see how I can help them.
Great, thank you. And is CPS already actively working with you for our schools?
There are a few projects that we are actively working with with Chicago Public Schools, but that doesn't mean that we've tackled every school. So if there's a specific school that you have in mind, please, once again, reach out to me, and I can at least, if I can't answer the question, I will definitely point you in the right direction of who can.
Great, thank you. And are any of these incentives location-based, like city versus suburbs, or do they cover everybody?
Our incentives are covered throughout the ComEd territory. Now, there are some places like Naperville that are municipalities that don't participate in the program, but typically anywhere that has a ComEd bill, we offer incentives.
Perfect. Okay, it looks like those were all of our questions. Oh, no, wait.
Oh, no, we got more.
What is the first thing you would recommend a facility do in terms of an EE project?
Well, of course, I'm going to say a custom project, because I'm the custom guy. But typically, what I would look at is lighting, HVAC, any process improvements that you can do. Some of the low-hanging fruit are, like I said, lighting and VHD, but it varies from facility to facility. So I would say, I could say that it'd be lighting for one facility, but then it might be a process improvement would be the lowest hanging fruit. So it's case by case, but if they want to talk about a specific location, we can definitely talk about it offline, or they can start with a facility assessment, which will look at the entire facility and they can look based on their payback, what they can afford to start with, and just work down that list with the report that's provided.
Okay. So again, it's beneficial to reach out to you, and you can kind of help people customize and answer specific questions for their facilities.
Absolutely.
Is there a list of all municipalities that do not participate, like Naperville?
Yes, and I can get that for you.
Okay, great. I can pass on that question contact, and you can reply directly.
I can respond back to whoever that is.
Perfect. And then if we received a rebate 15 years ago for replacing VFDs, can we receive another one if we've upgraded again?
So it is the incentive is typically for a new VSD. I would have to talk to that person to find out why they would be replacing an old VSD for a new VSD. There might be a custom project, but like I said, it'd be based on the energy savings. And if they already have a VSD, the delta between the pre and the post might be small enough where the payback wouldn't necessarily be beneficial for the customer. But if you want, you could put me in touch with that person, or that person in touch with me, and then we can talk about that offline and really dive down into that specific project.
Definitely. And a reminder to all the attendees, we will be sending out a follow-up e-blast with Jocelyn's contact information, so you can reach out to him directly, as well as a recording of the presentation and his slides. So you'll have direct access to Jocelyn after the webinar. Looks like those are all of our questions. Anyone else have any final?
Those are really good questions, guys. Really, really good questions. Thank you for participating.
And good answers.
Thank you very much, Jocelyn. And then, is there another webinar that's coming up for lighting?
Yes. Thank you, Tom. There is a 1-hour networked lighting webinar on February 25th. If you're interested in getting a link to that, you can also reply back to Jocelyn's contact information in the follow-up e-blast, and he can get you a link to that as well.
Yeah, remember, with the network lighting, you got 60% greater than 2020. So it's be a good time to take advantage of that network lighting. So I highly encourage you guys to participate in that webinar, and also to take advantage of the incentives available to you for that.
And then if you want to send us the link, the chief engineers can actually help distribute that too. So
okay, great.
Very helpful.
I'll make sure we get that out to you guys.
Wonderful job. And to all participants, thank you very much for participating today. And the thing that you probably would notice is that most of the projects that Jocelyn's talking about, you're probably already doing these projects already. So it's low-hanging fruit and money that's sitting out there that you can take advantage of to have your return on investment much quicker. So definitely reach out to these folks. They're there to help and assist you in all these projects, and you'll look like a superstar at the end of it. So, and Jocelyn, nice work, and thank you very much. Do appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for inviting us and having us able here to present to you guys.
Yes, thank you.
It looks like the link to the webinar, the next lighting webinar, was also added in the chat if anyone wants to grab that, but we will include that in the follow-up e-blast too.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day. Be safe.
You too. Be safe, everyone.